Thank you for inviting me today. It was very interesting to hear John, Barb, and Alan, especially that it's very relevant to the subject that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to share with you a story today, a journey that you might find it very similar to different aspects of your journey, having digital to help patients and improve healthcare. So first, I would like to present myself. I'm the head of products and quality, digital health in Teva Pharmaceuticals. We started the journey like 5 years ago to add the technology and digital into our drugs, and I would like to share with you how did we do during this journey. Basically, just as part of a pharmaceutical company, as you all know, there are some disclaimers. So one of them is the following presentation provides my personal perspectives only, and I was invited by the organizer to speak in this conference and not intended to promote any products. So this is a journey I would like to walk through together with you to speak about the needs. What exactly did we try to solve during the journey? What was the idea and the challenges? And also Alan mentioned a lot of the challenges that I felt like we are going through very similar constraints during the process, and what is the innovation towards the FDA approvals and the additional products that we would like to use with technology. So first, let's talk about the need. We started about having technology together with our drugs, so we have better eyes and ears to see how the patient is living with a chronic disease. We started with asthma and COPD, and also, Barb also talked about patients with chronic diseases, the burden of their life. So this is a good example that you can see that it's not only the day-to-day, it's the whole life, the whole impact on the life, including stop working full-time, avoid the stores. Now, probably we all better understand it with the COVID situation, but for chronic disease patients, they have a lot of burden in the life in addition to the day-to-day treatment. And it's very hard with the discussion and the technology that we have today to impact from holistic view over the whole life of the patient. So with asthma, uncontrolled asthma especially, there are some serious outcomes that, especially in the US, we found 3,500 deaths every year, and we have around 1.8 million emergency visits. And with all the technology and drugs and great physicians and hospitals that we have, we still see this burden. And this is unacceptable to have, since we have the technology, we have the molecules, we have the knowledge, but we are not combining them together in order to reach better outcomes. And this is what we try to do, and to get help from the technology to combine it together. One of the other challenges, and also Barb mentioned it before, regarding the adherence. For asthma uncontrolled patients, 30 to 70 of patients don't take asthma medications as prescribed, at least for $60 billion of wasted money in the US. So improving the adherence, and we have a lot of tools, digital tools, educational tools, how to improve that. But basically, it's very important to get it as part of the drug or as part of the treatment. Also talking about the technique challenges, how to use the device. You know that basically we got the education or the first treatment education when we get the device. So just the first months after inhaler training, for example, around 40% of patients use the inhaler incorrectly. So, and then during the time, we are going to meet less and less patients understanding how to use it. And also, it's not important to do it only in advance, since we need it in a timely manner. As we use it and as we are doing the mistakes and the errors, we would like to know what we did wrong. And today, with the current situation, we don't see the doctor every day, we don't see the nurse, so we cannot know, the physician cannot know that we have a problem. This is a good example of a patient that you can see. There is 1 week between June 19 and 25 that it seems like not adhere to the drug. And as you can see, 2 weeks before, the red points are actually, we see a good adherence, but this is not good enough because the technique, having a low inhalation, not using correctly the inhaler, was not good enough. And for the physician, when they're going to have the dialogue with the patient, not sure that they are going to see if the problem was not adherence or not a good enough technique, and not sure that the patient will be able to share with that with the doctor. And real data is very important for better treatment, especially with chronic condition, that we have a lot of dimensions that can impact on the situation of the patient. So this is, for example, you can see controlled patient, 7 patient out of 10, they will feel that they can be controlled and be adhered to the drug, but many of them cannot have the regular day-to-day activities in asthma and COPD. So when they go to the physician, they usually will describe things as regular. The physician will not be aware of the situation, and actually the burden will continue with patients. So the need for having the eyes and ears day-to-day with the patient together with the drug, we found it to be very important to improve many of the obstacles that we see, especially with asthma and COPD. And then we came to the idea. So how can we use the digital? You can all see the different tools in the industry, different medical devices, drug device combination, apps, accessories, clouds. We're all trying to use technology to help patients. So to choose the right tool and to improve our needs, this is our first step in the journey. And you can see a lot of patients are using technology websites. For example, 80-60% of patients conduct health-related search before scheduling a doctor appointment. 84% of physicians, they do the same. So we all use technology. The idea is which technology to bring to the patient and how to engage the patient into this technology. So this is the idea that we started with the Poor Digihaler as our first smart inhaler that was approved by the FDA and went to launch a few months ago. So you can see the whole holistic approach of a platform that we have a Bluetooth technology, we have a pairing technology with a mobile companion app as a drug device combination. We have a dose counter on the inhaler, and we have integrated sensors, very similar to the product that Barb has mentioned. Maybe the only difference that this will come together with a drug. So it will be marketed with a drug, and it will come from the pharmaceutical company. So the app and the dashboard, the cloud, the sensors in the inhaler, they will all be prescribed by the physician as one package to provide end-to-end solution. So this is basically the Digihaler system design. You can see the inhaler, you can see the companion app, and you can see the cloud and the dashboard. So to provide the view for physician or HCPs to see patterns with a group of patients. You can see the sensor embedded into the inhaler and communicate with the Bluetooth communication with the mobile app. and transmitting the information about the inhalation flow, volume, and other parameters that we are using in order to measure the quality of the inhalation. And we can actually bring it into physician hands, into HCPs, and also to provide timely manner feedbacks to the patients. So this is the idea, and we felt that it can bring a lot of benefits for the whole ecosystem. But there are some challenges, and exactly like Alan, as he described in his session, we saw some of the challenges, and I wanted to share with you at least 8 of them. So one of them is building new digital foundation in Teva to provide consumer-facing product. We are not used to have software products as a pharmaceutical company. The compliance journey that we had to go through with this new kind of product, the new metrics, and how do we share the information with other groups in Teva, the ecosystem solution, and how can we converge into one solution so we can submit it into the FDA and go through the submission and approval eventually towards the launch. The testing process and validation, the unique quality management system, the FDA regulatory path, and the design. So, and I want to share some of them. And if you have any questions or you would like to learn more, you are all welcome to access after this presentation. So one of them, and we mentioned it already today, the regulatory challenge. So you all know with software, especially with iPhone from 2007 until today, Apple released the first iPhone and 11 models since. And I don't want even to mention the number of releases and apps that we have in the market, and the flexibility that we have, the change of each software and every fix that we need to have in our apps. With the FDA, usually with having a drug through the whole process, it's can take many years until we have approval, exactly like we described today. So this is one of the challenges, how to provide software, talking about this regulatory path. Also in Teva, building a unique technology in the company had not previously aimed at software and digital communication that actually was part of the IT software. And this is a different type of software. This is a consumer software. It's drug device combination. The app is a promotional. It's also a tool for the physician and for the patient, and the dashboard for the HCP. So the way that you architect your software is very important for the regulatory path. Basically, if you cut the architecture into different modules, it will be able to impact how fast you go with the FDA, and how do you work to validate each of the components in the system. So to have agile process in a pharmaceutical company, this was very complicated, and it's still very complicated. And we try to tailor one solution, how to do it in a pharmaceutical company. We used to call it Pharma Agile, which is a pharma and agile process together. So one of the other challenges for the design is how can we design a product which is a technology product to be used by the consumer, right? It's not like any of our other products that we are using as drugs or devices. So there are other limitations and understanding that we need to gain. One of them is easy for use, seamless integration, transparency of data, to personalize the data into the specific usage of the patient, and immediacy that it's also part of not the same model that we are familiar with the drugs, and not the same pace. So the old model that we needed to build in order to provide a consumer software product to work together with the drug. The quality management system is also part of inputs that we have as part of the drug device combination. We have IT QMS, and we have R&D QMS, and we have for our CMC processes. But having a software as part of a drug device combination, we had to build a unique QMS, which is part of following the FDA guidance, the European guidance, 21 CFR 820, the cybersecurity, the privacy, all the submission documents and documentations, and how to build it in a way that we can adhere with all regulations and still be on time and be able to be flexible enough to bring a value with the software. And this was very challenging, especially in pharma company that our product should be a GXP products. And we had to build a unique quality management system in order to fulfill this need. Our first design took us like 2 years to build for the first QMS integration. And then we found many efficiencies in the process in order to reduce it into 7 months and 5 months of each of our other products. So this was a very important, and as we talked about it today, I believe it should be the first step before thinking about how to design and develop the software. One of the other challenges is how do we bring together, because you all know in software agile team, you have a small team of product manager, software developers, UX, sitting together in a room and with users. It's very easy to access users and to deploy the software and to get inputs. So you can fix it as we go. This is the way that software works in the industry. So we have beta releases, but we cannot do that with drugs. And we have to make sure that we have all constraints and all inputs on time before we release the software. And then we need to submit it. And only then we need to discover if we did something wrong with the user. And we need to bring it back. And this is a long cycle. So we had to find in the process the efficiencies, how to get through the human factor user study to get the inputs on time and work with the different groups in Teva, like privacy, commercial, marketing, pharmacovigilance, and manufacturing, R&D, human factors input, legal, like ownership of the data, medical affairs about inputs from clinical trials. And how do we take that into one screen? So you see one screen of the app. It's very innocent screen, seems very simple. Usually a software developer can develop it in a few days, but in a pharmaceutical environment, it can take weeks, months, and even years for a very simple screen with all the risk-based approach that we have to take into account, because this is part of the drug. So how to find the balance and the process to bring the requirements on time before you launch the product and still have the right inputs before, it's very important. And we also have a dedicated process for that. So you all know, as part of the data approach, this is something that we keep to have individualized data and to collect the data from the patient day to day. And once we have the access and the bridge to patient, we can actually improve other dimensions in the patient day to day, right? Like we can use environmental data, integration with EMRs, we can use geographical and location data. So if we bring all those biomarkers into one place with the reliable data, there is a lot of benefits that we can get, and not only us, the physicians, the patients, and the payers as well. So this data can be a great hub for being used over the whole industry. this is another example of what we can do with the data. So as you can see, we can have the opportunity here and having the graph of day 0 of exacerbation of asthma patient. So you can see that we can learn from the way that the patient used the drug before the exacerbation. So a few days before, we found some potential inputs that can be a great potential future offering of understanding if the patient is using the drug in this way or the patient has some difficulties of using the drug. We can learn about the future, and collecting this data and also the environmental data, we can bring notification and alerts and to help to empower the patient to manage his life in a better way. So it's not only the drug and to use the drug in a better way. It's not only the physician to get the right information on time. And it's not only a companion app being used as educational links with videos and walk with the patient day to day, which we cannot do in our healthcare today. It's also collect the data and to use it to find patterns and to find future features that will help bring us better value into the market. So as we saw today, the innovation is in the process, not only with the product, and we discover it in our lengthy journey, started a few years ago by having the idea and going through different technologies, and we would like to use it as a platform for other therapeutics areas. Once we have the whole platform with the mobile app, the cloud, the data collection, the dashboard, and the knowledge how to regulate such a software, how to work with patients, what do they need, how can we operate such a software and give and provide a software release every 3 months. This is something that we are not used in the pharmaceutical industry as well. So this is also something that we had to innovate. So actually, bringing a software in a pharmaceutical company, we saw how many dimensions and how many values we can bring into the market. But together with that, we brought a lot of challenges, and I wanted to share with you the challenges and the way that we try to tackle some of them. And you are all welcome to ask questions. And I wanted to leave more time for questions. I know how important it is, and if we don't have enough time today, you're welcome to approach me separately. I will be happy to assist in any way.